Okay, so now we understand the theory. Let's go about creating the form which we will use for creating new records in the table. Okay, so let's go and create an ordinary web form. Okay, add new item. It's going to be a web form. Let's call it something like new article dot a. Well, we don't need, it'll automatically put in the ASPX for us, so we don't have to write that. Okay, so we're creating our new article page. And the first thing we'll do is we'll actually design the interface. Okay, so let's view the toolbox. And I'm not going to do a very elegant interface for this particular video, because I just want to show you the principle of inserting data into a database. So this would be quite rough and ready. So I'll just put in the fields like author, colon, and then I'll need to put in a text box so that the user can type in the author's name at this point. Let's just stretch it a little to make it wider. So there's the author, the title. Okay, put in a colon and then another text box. Okay, and again we'll just stretch it slightly, and then we'll say, probably at this point it's a good idea to put in maybe the hyperlink or the URL. Let's say URL is more friendly title. To put in the URL, put another text field, and let's stretch that slightly again. Then we say the week. Okay, that's going to be very short indeed, so we'll just drag in a text field, make that quite short, and we'll put in one for something for comments. This is supposed to be the user trying to recommend the paper, so this is going to be slightly larger than the other fields. Maybe it will stretch over more than one line. So put in comments there, and we'll make the text mode, which we can set here, to be multi-line rather than a single line. And finally, we're going to add the, keep it inside the div, we're going to finally add the abstract. Okay, now the abstract is the one field that is going to be quite large. It's all the other fields we've limited to 250 characters, 255 characters. This one could be any length of character, any length of text. So make that quite a large field. We will make it a multi-line, and that's all we will do for now, frankly. So now the next thing to do, let's give them names, these fields, names, and let's make these names as similar as possible to the database fields that they are going to update. Although we're going to put a little suffix. Let's say I'll call it article underscore author. Author is the field that the database is going to that particular text field is going to change in the database. So let's just call this one now article underscore title. Let's call the next one article underscore hyperlink, because that's what it's called in the database. Let's make this one, this text field is going to be article underscore week. This one, we say comments, but the actual database field is intro. So let's call that article underscore intro. And the final one is indeed the abstract, so we just rename that to be called article underscore abstract. Okay, so that's established our fields. Now then, let's go into the code behind. Before we do that, we need, of course, the user has to be able to submit the form. So you can put in a button like that. We could just leave it like that, but we might as well, while we're here, is change its caption. Let's change the text of it. Let's say add article entry to database. Okay, so there's our button, which we will use to submit the form, which will then add the contents of the form to the database. Now let's double click on the button, and by doing that it'll take us to the code behind of that particular this particular page. Okay, now so first of all, because we're interacting with the database, let's at the very beginning of the page we'll import the libraries necessary for interacting with an Access database, which are which is imports system dot data database.oledb. Okay, so that makes us okay for connecting to the database. Now then, at the beginning of the button click, this is all basically in this page, unlike the other page where we had all the action taking place inside page load. Here, all the action is going to be taking place inside button click. When you click the button, that's going to send the stuff off to the database, and then what we would want to do actually after the kind of all that action has taken place, we wanted to go back probably to the mobile standards.aspx page, which displays the lists of articles. Okay, so this is the place where we will code it on this occasion. So the first thing we need to do is to create a database connection. Okay, and it's exactly the same as the one we did for the other page. So let's go back into that page. Let's just simply copy that line. Okay, OLEDBcon as the new OLEDB.OLEDB connection. So let's go back into new article, and so there's our database connection. That's the thing which now connects us to this particular database, to the database of articles that we've created. Okay, so that's all sorted. Now then, we're using this method of commands with parameters. Okay, this is and to actually get that working, what we have to do is, first of all, is write a kind of template string for the kind of command we're going to write, if you like. A template string meaning the command, but without any values being put in, if you like. So we're effectively creating an empty SQL statement. So we say, so dim, let's call it SQL string as string equals, okay, so here we go. So insert into papers, it's lowercase p in our case, papers. Now here is where we say the fields that we want to update. Okay, so let's open brackets, author, title, week, abstract, intro, and hyperlink. Okay, those are the fields. Okay, and then we type in the word values. Now here, because we're not going to put in any values at this moment, we're just going to put in question marks. Question mark, comma, 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 question mark. So 6 question marks for the 6 fields that we're going to update. Okay. Now that, if you like, that creates our little stub, the basic template for all our commands. Okay, we say insert into papers, we're going to insert into these fields author, title, week, abstract, intro, and hyperlink, and we're going to put in these in the values will correspond. So each of these question marks corresponds to one of those values. Having created that stub string, okay, now we can create an OLEDB command object. Okay, an OLEDB command object, which is a thing precisely for building and executing the database query, which will put in the values into the database. So here we go. We say something like this: dim OLEDB command as new as dim OLE, no, sorry, this is wrong, sorry. Let's create a value. So dim CMD command, CMD as OLEDB command equals new OLEDB command. Okay, and this is a constructor for the OLEDB command object, and the one we want is 2 parameters. Which will be the SQL string we're passing. So let's put in SQL string, the thing we've just created above, and then our connection object, which is the one from the very first line. So OLEDB con. Okay, and that creates our command object, OLEDB command object. Before we progress, we have to say what type of command object this is. Okay, there are a number of different types of command. We say command cmd dot command type equals, and you see there are only 3 types, and the one we want is command type text. It's that one there. Okay, so that's that's now set up. Now, having done that, we've now set up, if you like, the basic plumbing for this operation. Now we can add the values. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is putting in a value for each of these different things. A value for author, a value for title, a value for week, a value for abstract, a value for intro, a value for hyperlink. This is how we do it. So we say something like this: cmd dot parameters dot, and now we do the function add with value. Okay, and when we run that function, this takes two parameters, okay, as into its object. It's the first parameter is the name of the parameters in the string, and so basically this is the field in the database record that we want to put the data in. So we say in the first case it's going to be author. Okay, so that corresponds to the author here. So we say we're going to put into the author field, we're going to put something, value as object. Essentially what we're going to put in at this point is the text inside the field that we created, article author. We say something like article underscore author dot text. Okay. Now that's a very elegant way of doing this, because what it does is it's taking whatever the user put into that text box, make sure that it doesn't contain any funny characters or any kind of single quotes, or if it does contain any single quotes, it'll so-called escape them, i.e. make them possible to be transferred without disrupting the SQL query, and also kind of stops any kind of virus things going on as well. So we've done that. So let's now go through the other ones, and we can probably do it just as easily by cutting and pasting. So some command parameters add with value. The next one we've got to add is the title. Okay. Oh damn, sorry. Title. And what we're passing is article underscore title dot text. Okay. You can tell that we've got the correct name of the field when the drop-down list of possible properties appears. So again, we've got 6 of these to add, so let's go through them one by one. The next one is the week. Okay, the week. Okay, and here we can just say article underscore week dot text. Okay, and then cmd dot parameters add with value open bracket quote the abstract. Okay, and so it's article underscore abstract dot text. Okay, oh dear, we've got something slightly wrong there, so it's not quite article abstract is not we can't be found. So let's just check in the page this field, what is it called? Let's check. So we click on that one, it's called article underscore abstract. Okay, so it should be right, so maybe I've typed it wrong in the code. Article abstract, yes, there's no R, abstract. Okay, so article abstract dot text. Okay, so it should be now okay, and it is. Okay, now then we've just got the intro and the URL to add. So intro, article, intro, and finally we have the last one, which would be hyperlink, and it's going to be, this one is called article hyperlink. There it is, and I click on that and press return. Okay, so now then we've got that. So we've got all the fields now have been updated, and all we have to do now is to open the connection. So we've created our connection object. Okay, now we need to actually open it. So ole dbcon dot open. Okay, and then finally we have to execute the command. So let's just do that by saying cmd dot execute non-query. Now the reason why it's called execute non-query is because effectively this is not really a query. We're not actually getting anything back. We're not trying to find out anything. We're actually adding something to the database. Okay, so in reality this isn't really a query. So we say cmd execute non-query, because it's not going to actually bring us back anything. That's the reason for that, for using that method. And finally, so we're hoping that everything goes well and we've updated the database, so then we're going to just simply take ourselves back to the other page, which has the list of papers, so we can see that we have added something to the database. So let's type in here now response.redirect, and we'll go to mobile standards.aspx. Okay, so there it is. So that should do it. That is the way, the best way you can use to update data in a database. Namely, you create a kind of abstract string representing the command that you want to add, the SQL command you want to add. Then you compile this into an OLEDB command object. You say what type of command it is. Then for each of the fields you want to update in the database, or you want to insert data into, say which field and say where from. Okay, so we want to update the author field with the text of the article author text field. We want to update the title field with the text of the article title field, okay, and so on and so forth. So having done all that, we would hopefully be able then to add things to the database. So let's just see if we can. Let's see if we can by pressing. So here we go. Okay, so here comes our browser up, okay, and oh dear, it's not showing in the window. So here it is. Hopefully you can see that now. There's our database. Let's type in author, myself, title, web scripting and content creation, to URL, http www.hearts.ac.uk. It's going to take place in week 5. Some comments here and some more comments. So I've put in all kinds of funny stuff here, just to try to indicate that this is a large kind of piece of text, okay, and that now, so we click on now add and article entry to database. Let's click on that. Okay, so pressing that, what should be doing is sending the data to the database, and then it should indeed have added it to my mobile standards form, and indeed it has. Look, there it is, myself. There's the name of the article. Now, if I click on it, does it indeed go to the University of Hertfordshire website, like I said it would? I click on it, and yes, it does. It goes to the University of Hertfordshire website, so that's doing exactly what I wanted it to do. There's the text I created underneath. There's the week I said it would belong to. If I want to kind of put the order of weeks, now it goes down to the bottom like it should. Okay, so probably one negative thing is it's the text is not really formatting in the way that we did put the data in. It hasn't actually created new lines where I created new lines, etc., etc. But that's something of a marginal nature and not really that important. But as you see, the way that we can use now to add data to the database. I no longer have to go into put in new records. I can do it through the system myself. It would create a here to the play data. So there's a link here to give the user the opportunity to add data. But then the next thing we need to is to make that, however, inputting of data page a little more elegant. So we need to kind of style it just like we've done here. And finally, what I would like to try and do, if we possibly can, is to see if we can make our mobile standards list of papers become an RSS feed, which then other people could link to. Okay, then we shall do that in the subsequent videos.